feel confident in knowing that you're contributing to the future. You are necessary, you're a necessary member of the team, and allow yourself to make mistakes. It's okay. That's how you learn. That's the only way you learn. I'm Ashley King. I'm the CEO of Loch Villa in St. John, New Brunswick. I like to hike, I like to bicycle, but lately I've been hitting the books because I'm a student. I'm actually from Fredericton, not from St. John. So I used to travel to St. John to hike, but often we'd find ourselves, close to water as much as possible. We've done Colorado a few times. There's some really awesome hikes there. When I was young, especially when I was really young, I loved Barbies. I was always kind of playing make-believe. I had a big imagination, always just wanting to pretend like I was an adult, pretend that I was a parent, and pretend that I was working. And then as I got older, when I was going through middle and high school, my friends were where I really focused my time. I wasn't the best student. I wasn't the greatest student when I was in middle and high school. Played rugby. Yeah, we weren't very good, but it was fun. It was a great opportunity to learn, team building, working together to achieve a common goal. And it wasn't actually until I got into university that I really loved taking the electives and being able to really hone my craft, if you will, during my undergrad. My favorite subject was probably art, mostly because I found it easy. It was intuitive, it was fun. My least favorite subject was math, but it's interesting, as you get older, you realize how important math is, and I've actually relearned how to do bed maths and use FOIL and algebra so that I could get into my MBA. I went to St. Thomas University in Fredericton. My undergrad is it's a Bachelor of Arts with a dual concentration, so in psychology and gerontology. I was like, I'll be an English teacher, an art teacher. This will be great. I got into the first semester with some of the classes, and I was like, I don't know that I want to be a teacher. There's so many other opportunities here that I could be doing. And so my grandmother was aging at home with us. She had later stage dementia. And because of that, that really kind of piqued my interest with the gerontology course. So I took Intro to Gerontology, and that kind of coursed my career path from there on. I actually started in a garage. When I was going through my university degree, I worked for my dad. My parents were both entrepreneurs. And so I started there, and actually one of my professors from university came and saw me at the garage and said, would you be open to a position at a long-term care home doing activities? Loved that role. I was making cookies with residents. I was taking them on outings. I was sitting with them, enjoying spending time with them, hearing their stories and who they really were. So I worked in Loch Dementia neighborhood for a number of years. And that's when I really, I recognized that I wanted to do more. So a position came up at another nursing home, and it was quite a stark contrast from what I was doing. Where I was a really innovative, brand new home, and I was going to an older home with very few residents, smaller staff, but I really wanted to experience something different. Talk about a culture shock, if you will. It was nothing like what I had been doing just a week before. But I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the staff. I fell in love with the residents. So I moved into management there, and I spent about 6 years really learning the ins and outs of, it's not always easy when you're managing. You're hiring people. You're also having to sometimes lead people through discipline. And especially in a unionized environment, it can be challenging. And, I learned about how to keep positive culture, how to move forward as an organization, how to move projects ahead. And so, that 6 years was really pivotal for me to recognize that I wanted to do even more. And so I got offered a position at another old home, big home this time, and as an executive director. And so that, I think, was probably the best opportunity that I could have ever had. It was such a critical moment in my career path that I was able to recognize that my work experience in the nursing homes, my middle management experience, but I had also attended, I sat on the board of directors for the Alzheimer's Society of New Brunswick, as well as the Alzheimer's Society of Canada, and I was the Alzheimer's Society of New Brunswick chair for a number of years. So all of those volunteer aspects of my life, as well as my, career path, helped me and afforded me to be, to actually obtain the position of executive director. So I did that for a little under 3 years, and when this position came up, and so I've only been here 8 months, but I see a lot of synergies, and the organization is exactly what I want for where I want to be, and it's aligned directly with my values. So the advice that I'd give to students looking to get into business would be, you don't have to have it all figured out right away. Figure out your own management style. You don't have to mirror others. Really just take the time to learn and ask the stupid questions, because when you're young and in these roles, you're allowed to do that. Feel confident in knowing that you're contributing to the future. You are necessary. You're a necessary member of the team, and allow yourself to make mistakes. It's okay. That's how you learn. That's the only way you learn, honestly. I've made so many mistakes in my career, and I think that's what's made me better as a leader and more effective as a leader. Don't have your phone on you 24 hours a day. Take time out from work. That's critical if you want to have the ability to really affect change and influence change. Because the times that I've been the most strategic and the most forward-thinking are the times that I'm actually not physically at work. I don't have my computer with me. I don't have my phone on me. I'm not connected to everything. It's those times out that you can really get clarity, and take your vacation. Don't forget to take your vacation. I don't lead from the top. I hate those kind of euphemisms of you're pushing and leading from behind, but I think that's the most effective way to really embody and involve culture change, is encouraging people to make decisions based on what's actually impacting them, and not having the executive leadership make those decisions for them. I think many of us have seen that true top-down management, and you need to do this and this is why you do this. Instead of me giving my opinion, I want to ask you what your opinion is first. So let's start with that. I'm already in a position of leadership. Ultimately, it is my decision, but that doesn't mean that your opinion or your perspective is any less valued. So it's really, for me, I think one of the first things that I do, there's lots of other things, but I think one of the first things that I do is consider what is the opinion of my staff before even interjecting and sharing my opinion, because that may change or reframe their perspective. And so I don't want to cloud that judgment of theirs. A typical day for me does not look the same every day, and I'm very thankful for that. Some days, I'm working on what are we doing strategically, how are we moving forward, the organization aligned with our strategic plan or our operational plans. Other days I'm coaching and mentoring my team. What do they need? What roadblocks are in their way? How can I support them? What do they need? Sometimes I'm looking at budgets all day and looking at our financial position and how can we realign some spending, or how can we cut something, or how can we add more? How can we spend? And then other times I'm liaising with our board, because I do report to a board of directors. That's really important for me. I'm often letting them know what we're doing, having meetings with them, taking them for lunch, understanding what their motivations are. So while I lead a management team, I also report to a board who I need to understand, and they need to understand me and understand where I'm going and where I'm taking the organization. So no 2 days are the same, certainly, but there's a few things that are the same. You'll often find me at my desk with a cup of coffee, going through emails, talking to people, going and patting and picking up the bunny. We have 2 bunnies here. And it's not uncommon that you will find me walking the halls with a bunny in my hands. I honestly, truly don't believe that I'd be where I am today without mentorship. I love mentors. I am also not afraid to ask people who are far out of my reach to be my mentor. Would they consider it? And so I think, that's something when you're young and trying to figure out your career path, mentors will help guide you, and they'll consider you and they'll think of you when positions come up or when opportunities come up to help you forge your path. I still seek mentorship, and I think it's important to always seek mentorship from other people. That being said, I'm also starting to look at how can I mentor others. It really doesn't take a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of effort. The questions that I'm being asked or the contacts that I'm being asked to make, it's easy, and it fills up my cup to be able to do things like that. I'm finishing up my MBA, my Master's of Business Administration, with a focus on health and the life sciences. I started it back in 2022, actually. So it's an 18-month program. It's taken me all over the world. So I've gone to Singapore, I took classes in London and San Francisco. But I recognized I was an executive director of another home, and I realized that intuitively I knew about management, but I really wanted to learn more deeply what frameworks, evidence-based practices, so I could be a more effective leader and manager within my other organization and for the future. With my MBA, my program is actually based in Toronto. We're a beautiful province. I have recruited essentially my entire MBA class to come and enjoy New Brunswick because we have so much to offer. You drive an hour and you're at the beach. You drive another hour and you're hiking in the middle of the woods. We have so much open space, clean air, ability to not see people if you don't want to and need to get away that not every other province can offer. The most rewarding part of my job has actually changed. It used to be seeing the residents and seeing their smiling faces, seeing how much they care, seeing how amazing they all are and learning about them. And as I've gotten higher up in management, I've realized that I have to find joy in seeing my management team actually see joy, feel balanced, be excited about the future and what they're holding in their files. And so it's really kind of, the resident is always going to be at the center of what I find joy in. That's why I took this career path, was to support older adults and see a future of individuality and the provision of great care for older adults in New Brunswick. But I've also slowly learned that as you manage teams, you need to find joy and be fulfilled in watching your teams grow and develop themselves. Leading them to feel fulfilled so then they can provide that same feeling and experience to their teams.